Good morning, friends, and welcome to Quick Thoughts Devotions. Pray the Lord's blessing has been upon your life and you've been realizing that it is. This week, we'd like to speak on the topic of the surprising nature of love. Now, love is a word that we use many times, probably in most days, but I fear sometimes that we've lost a sense of truly what love is. A true love that when we read the Bible and it talks about how that God loves us and how that we ought to love one another, I'm afraid so many times the way that we use the word doesn't match up. Love has a surprising nature, and I want to show that to you reading some verses from John chapter 11 this week. Now, this is a pretty familiar story to most churchgoers or Bible students. It is the story of Lazarus. And we don't have time to read all of it, but we're going to read some choice verses, go through this story, and hopefully see from a biblical perspective the surprising nature of love. Begin at the first verse, John chapter 11, verse 1. Now a certain man was ill, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister, Martha. It was Mary who anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was ill. So the sisters sent to him, saying, Lord, he whom you love is ill. But when Jesus heard it, he said, This illness does not lead to death. It is for the glory of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. And my friends, just that short portion of this story, and we'll get to the rest of it. We will get to the end of the story before we week's out. But I want you to focus upon this morning. Everything that is done in relation to Mary and to Martha and to Lazarus, or for them, by Jesus in this chapter, is because or for the purpose of his love. It says here, and the sisters reminded him, they said, Lord, him whom you love is ill. And Jesus will speak of love, and we'll see that through this chapter. But Jesus says here, he says, this illness is not to the end result of death. Now, those of you who know the story might be questioning why he would have said that in that way. But he says the purpose of this illness, or the end of this illness, is not death, but it is the glory of God. My friends, we don't always understand why we go through things. It seems sometimes that we go through periods or seasons in our life of that. Maybe they're trials, maybe they're tests of faith. There are many terms that we could use, and we really, oftentimes when we're in the middle of them, we don't have the perspective to say that that's what it is. All we know is things are rough right now. We have that often in our lives. But my friends, we have to start thinking. The child of God, we must start thinking. Create a category in your mind, or start a journal and search the scriptures, because there must be a category in our lives where we realize there are difficult times that are not about punishment, but are actually about glorifying God. That's sort of an odd or a hard concept. But my friends, by the time we get through with this encounter of Jesus and Lazarus and Mary and Martha, I hope you see this. Because of God's love, he sent Jesus into this world. We realize that from John 3:16 and many other verses. My friends, because of God's love, we go through things sometimes. And it's not about punishment, but it is about the glory of God, and it is about him loving us.